All right, everybody, how you doing today? Let's get started. Another session here, July, getting to it here with a lot to talk about, a lot to assess. We are at the critical check back spot already, so let's get to it today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Yes, we start every day, well, every session, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 12 noon. So do subscribe to get the notification. If you didn't get the notification, check out Twitter. I don't know, maybe YouTube's blocking me. Who knows? I just, we get a good group in here every day, and it's enough people for me that share it with your friends. But I'm not going to chase people down. I think the better the quality of the group, the better experience for me. I think for everybody else. The people who get it get harmonic patterns. They understand what we're doing here. And today, I want to talk about locating our harmonic levels. How do we know what's a real level? And several things to talk about with, where we are in this whole Bitcoin check back stabilization. Is it happening? Are we going to get something off of here, or are we just going to drop straight to 11,000? It is absolutely in that key spot right now, which is good. I think it's something where it's a whole process. It takes time, and it's really early stages. So be mindful of that. And just understand that especially with these weekly charts, they're going to move in seemingly slow motion. Everybody wants this crypto winter to end, but we are we're definitely wanting to be at that point of, hold on, let me get this off, of just being ready for this final phase, final stage. And again, I think we're coming into a window of the next several weeks establishing something and then finishing out this decline over the next several months. I mean, I'm not saying the end is here. What I'm saying is this is the first place we can look since this peak, since going back all the way there, back last year, November. And for sure, depending on what you're looking at, that downtrend is just going to rule the whole outlook until we get past it. But what we're trying to do is say, okay, we're down 70, 80%. How far is this going to go? And at what point do we need to start thinking maybe the other side is there an emerging opportunity here somewhere? It's extremely early, and as I've been saying, this arrow, this HSI arrow, that's the first step on the long-term chart. We have some monthly considerations. I talked about that yesterday, review yesterday. Look at that, because it's probably going to last until this consolidation phase is probably going to take us to the end of the month. But the thing we were wanting to see across the board was the retest of last week's low to officially register what we call the HSI checkback. That's primary confirmation. In combination with patterns, it's a powerful confirmation method. It also helps us to locate the actionable levels. We can get patterns, you can get simple measurements, but we need that confirmation trigger. So where are we in the weekly scope of things? Take a look at where our HSI reading is this morning, coming in on a weekly basis at about 32. Exact level is 33.46. And here's the thing. I am watching what this does. So I've talked about this complex structure. Let me trace it out again for everybody. It is a W. We have this kind of W formation. And that's important for those that don't know about differentiating indicator structures. Can you find a W versus like a V? This would be this little test here. That's what we call an impulsive V. Confirmation, hits the oversold, comes right back out pretty quick. Couple of bars, 2-3 bars, no matter what the time frame. Versus where we are now, where we have this W. I mean, you can trace out that W. Looks like we're about to get another. We possibly could get this to be a midpoint and maybe come down one more and then go out. So there's a lot to consider, but it's still early. That's how we know it's early. And we know when we get down to these oversold situations and they expand like that, they're going to take more time. It's not a situation of, 2-3 bars. This can be 10, 15 bars. The whole key is to get out of the zone to start the process. That's the last thing we're looking for here. Against the check back. Our check back last week's low was 19,055. We almost got there last night. I mean, this is Bitcoin on an hourly chart. Did we get there? No. Do have a really nice bat pattern, couple of patterns back to back. We talked about that yesterday, where don't be surprised if we're just consolidate from level to level. 18, 19 on the low side, 21, 22 max on the top side. But within that, sure, there's trades, there's opportunities. They're not as great as last year, but you take what you get. Take what you can get. And we still look for the same process, okay? Pattern completion, confirmation, check back. We even have it here on the hourly. Look, check out the hourly. Beautiful bat pattern, bullish bat. There's confirmation. Confirmation came in early on that one. There's your terminal bar. Really close. We don't have any confirmation post-terminal bar. We really want to see it after the fact. Still just reaction. Again, I would look at that bat pattern as something like that. Reaction to target 1. That's the type 1 move, and then come back down for type 2, target 2. All of that, even on our hourly basis, if you can connect dots and you can just understand the reaction reversal dynamics, the first test of a pattern is a reaction. I mean, look at the bearish pattern here. The bearish pattern on the hourly did the same thing. Look, your confirmation, your first completion is there. All the way down to target 2, in this case, comes back. Now, on the retest is where we have confirmation, true confirmation on the type 2. It came in right there. No check back, but still expressed the same dynamics that we want to look for. Even with a nice pattern where you have something like this, there's your terminal bar right there. Without confirmation, if you get anything, it's still going to be a reaction. 9.9 times out of 10. You're going to get a reaction. What does that mean? You do a sharp counter trend move to target 1, target 2. That's it. That's classic type 1. And come back for the retest. Now, there's other aspects I've talked about, 30 bar count, other simple ways to help the management, because here, the secondary retest, what happened? It was a dud. There's your confirmation. Here's the retest. 30 bars is there. And you're doing nothing at 30 bars. It's a scratch. But if you walk through the framework, the 1, the 2, you're going to be able to spell it out in advance what to look for. If you don't get what you need to spell out, then you're simply either not going to take the trade or you're going to scratch it. So the current bat pattern on Bitcoin here on the hourly, just reaction. Just think reaction. We probably could come back Thursday and have this pop up for a day and back down for a day. Absolutely. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Snipes, David, how you guys doing? 83 Madden, Stara, Zach, welcome. Good to see everybody. really quick, I know we're getting to more people, and just wanted to show, where did my, there it went. Everybody, please go to harmonictrader.com, sign up as a basic member, and get access to the books and the software, and you know what to do. Send your username for the trading view, HPC at sr-analyst.com. Get a 14-day free trial. And then the MetaTrader, I'm going to pull up something next week on, I found a good crypto feed where you can get everything. MetaTrader is probably still the most popular software platform in the world, although TradingView I think is going to overtake them eventually. But great for FX, great for crypto if you're with the right broker. And so I think I found some solutions where you can bring in, let me bring over our screener, things like this. So we have a screener for, there you go, bring this over here. We have pattern screeners for eSignal, Sierra charts. They look like this. The problem with some of them is they don't have a comprehensive crypto data feed. MetaTrader does, and depending on your broker, we can get all of that into the screener. So that's for next week. We'll look at that. I think it's going to help though, because it really to streamline the information and how to read it. Then you're not fishing one by one looking for just, going through one by one, scanning, okay, does this have a pattern? That has a pattern. You can just immediately scan through and go through all your favorite time frames and then just do scans. Go like, give me a 5-minute scan, I guess, even, or a 60-minute scan. You get patterns all the time. But the thing to remember, we're still applying the type 1, type 2 framework every time, any market, every market, and that looks like this. Let's get into Ethereum, which is almost did it. Almost did the perfect check back on the weekly, so it looks like it wants to go now. Ethereum is probably one of the more advanced weekly, longer-term pattern structures. You have several things going on there. You have this ABCD right off the top. I've been looking at this quite a bit. Could this be a Gartley? Could it be a Gartley? So we've talked about this B point, why that's so important. We do have a perfect ABCD off the top. Software is not generating a Gartley, so I'm not going to really jump on it unless it's automatically generated. But why are we stabilizing here and not 680? We do have an ABCD. Could be a pause, could be a harmonic dud, but we'll know really quick. We will know. I thought we were going to get there yesterday. And so this check back is absolutely on. Go back, retest last week's low at 1044. 1044. It has to hit that. It helps that you have how many weeks now? 4 weeks inside after 5 weeks total down at this 1,000 level. Trying to hold, and then look at our confirmation levels. HSI progressing. The interesting thing about HSI is that price doesn't necessarily need to move. It's as much about time as much as price to develop that reading for the extreme. And remember, the thing that I would really want to see, if it's this week or next week, is to get above the 50 level. Then we would have something. We would have a counter trend rally at a minimum. Also, we want to see amplified get out of the zone. You have this amplified RSI stubbornly flatlining in the oversold. That needs time. Don't think of it as good or bad. It's just more time, and that's okay. We want to always optimize our entries within the larger zones, and that's how we do it. Keep an eye on all of that stuff. I mean, it's kind of tough to look at things like that have been so beaten up and say, okay, there's opportunity here. But if we stick with the big ones and we look at even like composite indices such as the total crypto market caps, they're trying to stabilize. They're trying to come out. Here's total crypto. This too, total crypto market cap. First HSI on the weekly that we have seen, period. Really since, go back here. There's the first bullish HSI after the top, and that was back in December. So this is the first one in 8 months. Got to say that's fairly significant. Could we fail here? Of course. We could fail here, no doubt, because we don't have confirmation in our amplified reading. RSI's got to get out. RSI has to get out of the zone for this to flip the switch. You know, I talked about a month ago. What was it? Was it May? I forget. When did we do that? The last seminar? I guess it was May. We talked about binary decisions. It's yes or no. You got to have your readings to determine that. Do you have a pattern? Do you have confirmation? Do you have more than one confirmation? And then do you have the triggers? Do we have HSI? Yes. Do we have amplified RSI on the oversold? Weekly? Yes. Is it out? No. It's not out of the zone yet. So this is, as I said yesterday, it's a different spot. This is a different test than the one from 8 months ago. Okay, look at HSI popped out, but look, amplified was trending down. There was nothing in amplified that confirmed that reading from back in December. Note that it was a December 21st critical point, critical low. But with this, you know, it's in a better spot. We're certainly deeply oversold. And we've kind of broken some downtrends here where this is just a matter of some time and consolidation. Don't get me wrong, please. I'm not looking for a moonshot. I'm just looking for some kind of counter trend bounce to alleviate this severely oversold situation. You know, we'll draw the trend line as well. I think this is an interesting aspect that Ethereum and Bitcoin, a lot of these are still under the downtrend from that started back in November or December. A lot of work left to do, but I gotta say that we are in the depths of this rather ugly market malaise. That's exactly what it is. I said that a year ago, and we are, you know, in the thick of it. Here's total crypto without Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is total 3. And we talked about this. This HSI on the weekly, we have a bat pattern. There's the arrow, there's the icon, but look how it comes into the zone. Bleeding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks down. Okay, and 13 out of 15. This is another down week trying to register. We haven't checked back yet. Your check back point is basically 340 billion. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that we're to the right. This is actually not a bad place to be of this accelerated downtrend, but we're trying to locate it in this zone. We're trying to determine, all right, pattern check, confirmation check, check back, checking now. That's why this week we come into Sunday. If we can ditch down here and successfully test, the only thing I would look for is pretty much like a 1-bar, 3-bar reversal. Check back this week, and then maybe next week you do the bust out move for just counter trend rally. So in the depths of it, you're down there, you're scraping the low. And again, sometimes it can be something as simple as a 1 week candle reversal to get the whole thing going. But you have, this would be like having 4 of the 5 pattern elements waiting for that ultimate completion. Couple of other ones. Let's some of the alts, folks, that I've been mentioning really quick. Here's the sandbox situation. Okay, this one did not check back to the weekly like we want to see. If you're not in this yet, I'm still in this. I took a shot on this and still holding that. Hasn't come back all the way against me yet. I'm definitely watching the daily, but you've got a lot of patterns here. And you had the check back back in June 21, ironically. We talked a lot about that at 82 cents. So trading 114. This is moving slowly, but this is where I'd love to see the rest of crypto get to. I would love to see crypto get to the right of their downtrends and then do a dance, come over to the right here and give me some signals to the right here. So we'll see if this materializes into anything other than a little blip, and then maybe it's going to take more time. I'll update you on that one. But it's, that's a better one than most because of where we are right of that trend line. Here's another one. This CRV I thought was pretty interesting recently. There you go. You got a few things here, but CRV on the daily Binance feed. Look at these patterns. Okay, beautiful, left and right. I mean, deep crab. There's the confirmation. Comes all the way down. And let me isolate this one because, again, it shows you the type 1, type 2 in action. There's the crab automatically generated. All right, sun icon comes in right there. But only a reaction. You did get an HSI arrow, but no check back. Still only a reaction. This one down to target 2. And then flies right back to retest the zone. I mean, all at 626. And your HSI, you had a couple. You could go that kind of a check back. You could go this kind of a check back. I mean, it's, generally that works. But it took more time. And the first move, a reaction. That's why no matter what happens going forward, the next several weeks or months, anything off these lows, we're just thinking reaction. And then you had a big bat pattern. It's tough to see, but that bat pattern completion was right there. Let me see if I can blow that up. Yeah, you can see a little bit better. There's your bat. That's the 886. But no confirmation. No green arrow. Look. There's where the bat completed. Trace your line down. No HSI. And getting close to HSI is not the same. It's definitely something where first you need the sun icon, then you need the arrow. And then tell me about, is amplified getting out of here, out of the zone? Because you don't have anything there. This is your ideal situation. There's, at the hop of the bat, you have a secondary deep crab. We could treat it the same way. Again, even if we just looked at the deep crab, this is what we want to see. Icon, arrow. In traditional markets, that arrow is usually going to come shortly after the icon. Pattern completes, then you get confirmation, and then you do the check back. There's the check back. I talked about this in several other pairs and altcoins, and it comes down to a real tight window. You're at the hop at 62 cents off of the crab. It kind of reminds me of Bitcoin on the futures chart, but you have an arrow. And this is the way to think about it. We're walking through this on the weeklies, but when HSI triggers, okay, it triggers on the close of that bar. So then the arrow is official, but it's it's a little difficult because when the arrow triggers, you want to jump. I mean, it just seems like, oh, okay, arrow signals, it's going up. Let me just get in. But we have to assess the whole range. And that's what I'm looking for across the board on a lot of the long-term crypto charts. Essentially, build the range. Build the trigger range within, there's the candle that marks it. There's your low, there's your high. This is, again, where a single candle, a trigger candle, a trigger bar, has a lot of significance within the trend. And then this is kind of I was saying this last time, permissible execution zone, meaning this is where we're looking for the action. This is where we're looking for to turn the analysis and the pattern structure and the levels, locating it within that rather wide range, narrowing it down to optimize. And even with that, we still see stuff like, okay, this is where it triggered, but look at your amplified. Still oversold. Kind of reminds you of Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. They haven't come out of the zone, and you're 1-2 bars away from the low. Then they pop out and start to make some progress. That's exactly what I'm thinking currently. If this was the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, I would say we're here or here, somewhere we're real close. I mean, in the way that I'm laying this out for the Bitcoin, Ethereum scenarios, yeah, you might be 2 more bars away in this final check back phase. Let's see. A lot to consider. Here's another one. Crypto.com is trying to do something. And go to daily. Is that weekly or weekly? I think it's weekly. Weekly is the check back. Take a look. Big, beautiful bat pattern. Huge. And that's if everything that I've been looking at for the last many years of crypto, especially with the software and in the last 4 or 5 years that we've done the software, we want to see the pattern. I would love to see more weekly patterns automatically generate. Yes, we can connect dots, and that always helps to understand. But from a signal perspective, I rely on the software to generate the pattern. That's going to be my bread and butter. I can still do manual measurements for consideration, but for me, that's a starting point. Then, okay, do we have confirmation down here? We just did. We just got it, and it is what? 5-8 weeks after the pattern completion. Again, that can seem like an endless amount of time, but trust me, we stabilize here. This turns into something. We're going to be looking back at these dead days of summer, which are crypto winter, and being like, yeah, of course, that was a perfect setup. And with the check back, last week's check back off the low on crypto.com, that low is 11.065 cents. That's how we locate it. I want to be looking basically at 11 cents from now on, crypto.com, and look what we have. Beautiful bat pattern. Bringing together time frames, confirmation to narrow down possibilities. This has got beautiful patterns on this hourly chart. That's quite tradable. Look at this back to back to back. Look at these last 4 patterns, folks. This is what you realize when you let the software automatically generate it. It's just going to serve up the ideal situations when they're there. Deep crab, confirmation down to target 2. We're seeing that a lot as well. We're seeing a lot of the back-to-backs and a lot of patterns that want to run well beyond target 1. Still just type 1 reaction. Still type 1 reaction no matter what on that first move, and then comes back. That's the kind of thing we want to see. Here we have another bat pattern, crypto.com, I like this. Just on the hourly, up to target 1. But again, look, where'd you go? I just lost my icon. Oh, it's overlaid. It's tough to see. But for this hourly bat pattern, there's the terminal bar. Green arrow, bang, we're in business. Now check back, which it did, which helped to find basically 11.25 cents. The low end here, 11.2, somewhere in that ballpark. And then look at what's going on with Amplified, where Amplified on the check back, okay, comes back into the zone and then busts out. Here's the other thing with this situation. We're above the 50 line on the hourly. That should get it going at least up to target 1. Target 1, maybe as high as 12 cents, target 2, but put it all together, the elements you're looking for are there. Yeah, I can look at a couple people want to look at some things. Sure. Solana, XRP, BNB. Yep. Okay. I'll pull up, let's go to Solana first, because Solana is the same, similar to a lot of the alts. Solana's got a bunch of stuff low 30s. Looks like this. Hourly chart, starting to see some patterns, right? Even on this pullback, starting to get some nice hourly patterns. But let's go to the daily, weekly. Solana. Big, ugly bat pattern on Solana. Looks like this. Huge. Love it. Really nice. But delayed confirmation. We do have confirmation. I talked about this one last week. Here's what it looks like. And did we get the check back? Maybe, I thought we did. Let's blow it up. Walk through. There's pattern completion around 42. But any confirmation? No. And just a mere reaction off the numbers. Again, an example of why, if you don't have an arrow, you don't have anything at the pattern completion or just after. And here's HSI. Okay, does not come down. Zero confirmation. There are other markets we're looking at that have this exact thing. Beautiful pattern, but HSI is nowhere to be found. It's not where you want it. I mean, of course, you want that perfect confirmation. But think of it this way. It's going to be delayed, or it's just a reaction that will take more time, and we finally get that better part 6-7 weeks later, where no confirmation. And so there's the arrow. We check back. Did we hit that? No, we didn't. We never got to the prior low here to officially check back. We did trade into the range of this zone. Think of it this way. There's the arrow. Okay. Just mark the high and low. Ideally, if it's a bullish signal, we want to see it retest the low. Maybe even come a little bit below the low and then go again. We didn't hit that. We traded inside the range. A little blast off. I mean, 32 to 38 is not a bad move, 20% move. But as a larger trigger, no, it's going to need more time. You could even do it like this. Once you bust out and do the check back, any trend line you violate, it's over. But the larger signal on the weekly, check out Solana on the weekly. Again, we did check back on the weekly. So, okay, might take a little bit more time. Here you go. There's the weekly. Let's move the daily lines over. It's like this. Okay. This is Bitcoin and Ethereum that I want to see happen now. So if this is Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're week 1 and we're trying to check back against that low. What I like about Solana is the fact that you are stabilizing. You hit the check back and look at your next 2 weeks. Not bad. I mean, hey, it's not fireworks, but at least that's early stabilization. Early. You come back, that added level at 3175 is going to try to put a floor underneath here to get something. Can we get something? Some kind of counter trend bounce, or it's just going to fail? I mean, that's not really what you want to see, but again, I think this is all-time 886 as well. Let's put that down. Yeah, it's all-time 886. It's like there, about 30 bucks. Yeah, $29.85, $30. So absolutely just understand where we are in the framework. It's a major 886. I mean, can it keep going lower? Of course. But we're getting closer. We are getting closer. And look, even talked about this yesterday, I still think Bitcoin 11,500 and Ethereum at 680 are targets that have to get hit structurally. But the stair-step process that we know happens with all price action says there's got to be at least a counter trend bounce. And I think with Solana, it's kind of like that from end of last year, where you had a little bit of a check back and then a bounce up, which was a nice, almost 100% mover. And then before we come back down, there's your downtrend line of the all-time since the peak. And let me clean that up. Again, we're not taking any action yet. We're quite close. Solana showing us the way, actually, of, having what we want to see. You're at a major metric. You have a big pattern on the daily. Again, looks like that. I mean, these are the kind of situations we want to line up and be there. Be ready for it. I would like to see Solana, like all of them, trigger something to the right of the downtrend. It's a much better place to try to launch something than underneath the downtrend. If you try to launch it from here, folks, what typically happens is you're going to run into that downtrend resistance and take more time. I would rather consolidate sideways. Go sideways, not do much, between 35 and 40, or between 33 and 43. And then give me something here, maybe in August. And go for it. And that would be a better spot of saying, hey, this thing's a lot freer to run. So be aware of just the larger picture, the signals that are coming. You're going to have plenty of time. I always say that too. You have plenty of time in any market. Like if you're rushing to hit the button and execute a trade, you're likely not applying any methodology. And seriously, any proper methodology that outlines key levels of support, resistance, should give you plenty of time to react. Yes, the harmonic pause. Very good. Absolutely. That is part of the process. It's look, reversals, reactions, patterns, they're all part of a larger market process. I like to call the patterns market phyllotaxis. Okay, check out, if you want to learn something for today, for your homework, just Google phyllotaxis and it'll explain what that's all about. I mean, when we're looking at price action, okay, the market phyllotaxis, those are the patterns that form within the process of moving up and down. And there's a sequence to it. There is an order to it, and that's what we're trying to spell out here. It's an imperfect process. That's why we want to ballpark it and then locate the levels, the actionable levels in the larger zones. Excuse me. Still got this thing still on my nose. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, let's go a couple more. The XRP, yeah. I'll look at XRP. It's been a while. That's weekly. That's doing it. XRP did the weekly big bat pattern. You know, we had a few things at around 60 cents that never really registered. We had I gotta add, this is a different data feed. But this bat pattern on XRP going back 2 years is more like the structure. I mean, that's a full harmonic reset. 886 off the low is right there. And then bang, you have HSI. It triggered. Blow it up. Okay. The low of that trigger bar right there from June 21st. No coincidence. Remember, we talked about why June 21 was a critical and repetitive inflection point for many crypto. 31 cents, folks. 31 cents. You're right there. You're stabilizing. You need to see what's Amplified look like. See, Amplified's not out yet. There it is. This is the only thing I'm waiting for on a lot of these. The only thing I'm waiting for is get out of the zone, please. Then I know we're in reaction territory. We're not in reaction mode until we can at least pop above the 30 level. That's definition of oversold. Again, notice how the W is coming down here, taking more time. And even with this is how I would line it up and expect it to happen over the next many weeks and months of get out of here to give us a reaction. Tradable reaction, go to the 50 and then some, and come back down later in the year for the confirmation. But this is deep in the hole. I would love to come back to this point or this session in 4 or 5 months and say, you know, see why we needed to pay attention down here, even though we're dead of summer or the dead of crypto winter, depending on what hemisphere you live on. But you have all the signals. Pattern, confirmation, check back. And it's no wonder that the total 3 index without Ethereum and Bitcoin are further along. I find it interesting that that's happening. But it's tough to see the opportunity down here as well. I would understand that. You'd be like, well, you know, I'm just throwing a dart, Scott. Why? What is really here? Well, again, the pattern, all the requirements for a pattern, the confirmation, and then we're just looking for those final pieces of engagement, really. You get amplified RSI, you break this trend line, and then you go. And the other piece with this, folks, is that even if it comes out of the zone and you find yourself waiting and executing at a higher price, I would rather execute at 40 cents, say in October, or the low 40s out of the zone, knowing I've got a full chance to go to target 1, than to be underneath the trend line and have this kind of bleed down. Look, it hasn't triggered the reversal yet. Do we see a 1 bar, 3 bar reversal? No. We have one green candle, okay, but what are we really looking for after this is price action. Give us an individual price bar reversal to lead the way. And that would be especially denominated by any kind of close. Weekly close above 37 cents, maybe 38 cents to get you going out of the zone. Trust me, what we're going to all need to do is come back to this session in a couple, 2-3 months as it materializes. I said this yesterday. It's like moving in slow motion because it's taking so much time, because we're looking at weekly charts going back over a year. In some cases, 2 years. And that development, that takes a lot of time. Let me show, let's go to the books. So just want to reference this really quick. All of the harmonic pattern books are available as a free PDF as a basic member. And I would just want to show this one. So let's go to volume 3. Volume 3 is the last book I did. It's probably be the last book I ever do. But there's a great graph that helps to really highlight that situation. Where is it? Come on. Where'd you go? All of the framework illustrations are in there too. I think volume 3's got probably the best of the confirmation and illustration. There you go. It's like this. And that's a really simple scale of how to be considering all of your trades. No matter what, if we're looking at any pattern, any market, any time frame, our trade identification is going to be the longest process. We're looking for X, A, B, C. As we come down C to D leg, we're approaching the completion. And once we complete, that is the end of what I call trade identification stage. And then in the execution phase, we're looking for that confirmation. And then once we execute, we get the triggers, we go into trade management. But the window is going to be pretty tight. We go back to XRP or what have you, you're talking a 2-year pattern. Okay. Started 2 years ago, June. We're now in July, 25 months. And so the whole execution window of after 25 months of development could be 2-3 months, 8 weeks. Seems like a lot, but when you're down here and you're waiting for it to materialize and then it goes by and you do get a successful reaction, that can pass you pretty quickly. And before you know it, then you think you're waiting and waiting, but you chase because you're not there in front of it. Really need to be in front of the pattern. That means you're early, you're waiting, you're lining up a handful of opportunities, and now you're looking for things like this, where we are exactly now, and with our other confirmation like this. Get amplified out of there. Get it up to the 50. Get HSI above to the 50 and back to the other overbought. Because we do treat HSI in a serial manner to go from oversold to overbought to oversold, and write it like that. There you go, oversold to overbought, just up and down. That's the way it was designed. I think it's one of the best advantages of the indicator itself, and it's available on the software. So again, check that out. A lot of people tell me that HSI is helpful because for directional purposes. What was the last extreme reading? And just go off of that. So the last extreme reading was oversold. So I'm looking for a long opportunity out of this range. That's the way to think about it. Let's go to a couple more. You guys wanted Binance Coin Bnb. Probably one of the remaining stalwarts of the industry, if you will, trying to hold. This one, okay, we talked about why. Weekly HSI, first weekly HSI 2 weeks ago. No check back. Your check back level is 205. Pretty good. Take a look at Amplified. Much like the other ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, we were waiting for this thing to pop out. It did pop out, but is this going to come back down? You need to pop out and follow through. What I would like to see is this hold, and next week you start the march. That could get you going on BNB, even though there's structurally not a lot going on. I don't have too many patterns in BNB like we've seen in so many other altcoins. That's a situation where it's just tough. It's just not, you want an opportunity in BNB. You don't know where it's going to come. There's clearly no pattern, so you just have to wait. Even just draw your trend line, okay? You're still in a clear downtrend. Until you can break that, there's nothing to worry about. Wait for the pattern to develop, wait for the signal. And again, this could be something where we do consolidation, you do have weekly. I mean, that weekly is a nice signal. No pattern, no check back, no action yet. That's all right. And hey, even if we miss this and this is the opportunity of the century, I would rather miss it without a signal than chase it. Daniel's saying Apple and Bitcoin are the same. I agree with that. Yeah, we'll go to that in a second. Yeah, BTC. They actually the NASDAQ 2000 market and Bitcoin look similar. We've seen that before, folks. I'll go back to Bitcoin in a minute, but I'm just, BNB, great story, great narrative. It hasn't crashed 90% like the rest of them, but I don't have a signal on BNB. So we'll wait for that. Be patient. I mean, it's like, here's something I do. It's, of course, if I was to say to you, oh, okay, I've got $1,000, Chili's or BNB, I think everyone would say, oh yeah, BNB. But Chili's has got patterns. It doesn't have some confirmation, but look, beautiful patterns on your daily, back-to-back deep crab, bearish to deep crab bullish. And with a check back that came in at 8.5 cents. All right, that's the start of something. That's the ideal entry right there. You have pattern completion. The arrow generates. Then you're waiting for the retest of that range. It's kind of like Sandbox. You came in, you registered, you checked back, and that was it. And it's to the right of that. Look, someday I'll nail this sequence really into like a 1, 2, 3. I think I'm almost there, but it's pretty clear. Pattern icon for the terminal bar. In traditional markets, again, your confirmation is usually going to happen sooner. Crypto's kind of funky, so it happens over here. Look, pattern completion on Chili's was way back there, and look at HSI. I think this is a good note. HSI is just not there. Even though amplified RSI was there, HSI is not. You want both of them. Here, you're going May 12 to June 15th, like 30 days later, you finally get HSI and you get amplified to come out of the zone for the first time. All right, that's a point I want to pay attention to. Regardless of what this nonsense has been for the last 30 days, easy, you still are sitting on these levels. That's your ideal point. Okay, the check back area with confirmation, with amplified coming out of the zone is what you want to see. And then check out amplified on the 50 level. This is the other thing we'll look for probably next month in Bitcoin and Ethereum. If they can get out of the zone, all right, get above your 50, because this is where the acceleration happens. It's not happening yet with Chili's, but you have most of the parts lined up there. That's more of a scenario just based off the patterns. Again, narrative, you're going to always pick BNB. Pattern, confirmation, check back, I would take Chili's every time. And that's why if you got a favorite crypto, you're a Bitcoin maximalist or whatever. I mean, let's go back. On the daily, all right, where's the check back possibilities for Bitcoin? Well, we have HSI with a big fat deep crab, sorry, that completed all the way at 23,291. But the completion of HSI, which is all the way here, has a low of 17,934, yet to be retested. Okay, I'm fair game. We come back down into here. I would look at that around 18,000. If this fails, you keep going down straight to 11,000. How do we know? Well, we're looking for, again, is HSI anywhere here? It's bearish at the moment. Going down, I want to see bullish. I want to see HSI come down on Bitcoin. A little bit lower. And amplified. These are daily. And then remember the weekly, because the weekly is there. So the daily shows us how the checkback can happen. Let me remove all these lines. We just need to get back to retest that at 19,000 or a little bit under to start the weekly process. Take a look. Okay, again, way early. Please understand, we are extremely early trying to be in front of the patterns and in front of the confirmation. That can always take more time. Yeah, it's just the start. A lot of these signals are the first signals since last year. So I'm expecting this to draw out into August. If it wasn't going to happen, if we weren't going to flush June 21, let's go to September. Let's go back there and we'll see what happens come September. But these small gyrations do matter. One or two more. Here's something I pulled up a while ago. I'm looking at this puppy. Here's Brave basic attention token on the weekly. Okay, you triggered back in June 13. Your low point is 25 cents. Okay, you're trading 38. You did get a little bit of a bounce. The daily, check out daily. You've got patterns here. Okay. Here you go. Let me remove everything. I like this one. I do like this one. Of all the crypto, this does make some sense to me. But I'm, being a browser and all of the privacy, whatever, and the conceptual things, even though it's probably not really still worth what they have it valued at. But let's just separate all narrative. What's the pattern? Where does it complete? Pattern completes here, but confirmation's all the way over here. Okay, you're waiting for check back. I'm waiting for something to come back and test. It never does. We're going to get another opportunity probably by tomorrow or Thursday. So I'll come back on this on Thursday because look, you're hitting oversold again. And this is how it normally happens when you're waiting for things to kind of check back and do what they should. Ideally, if they don't materialize right away, you're typically going to get another signal, and that's what looks like will happen down in here. And so I would just trace all of that out. Okay, you're in this larger deep crab zone, probably 2 days. Come down in here and come out over the next 2, maybe 3 days and trigger another HSI, which we're still going for 55 cents, even though we haven't gotten close to it. That's still target one, and we would still treat that the same way. Come up and then come back down on this daily. That's how I'm looking at that. A lot of this stuff is lining up to retest this week, next week, maybe give us some kind of reaction, and then go into September, October with a death phase, if you will. That's where it seems like it's starting to come together, especially since a lot of these did not trigger those levels in June. But we'll come back Thursday. We'll look at this oversold. Also Thursday, I'm going to give away a couple more books, so you want to be there. If we're looking for 3 touches. No, we're looking for, I call it 3 signals. You want pattern completion. You want confirmation. And then you want that retest of that confirmation area. Like Chile shows us the way here. This is a pattern. Okay, the pattern is deep crab. Your minimum test is at 38, but you trade all the way down to 24. How do you know that? This is a problem a lot of people have with harmonic patterns. How do I know how far past the zone this sucker's going to go before I take the trade? It's with the confirmation strategy. And again, if you don't get the confirmation strategy to line up and you miss it, so be it. There's going to be plenty that do what you want to see. Or what happens is that you get a nominal reaction and like a secondary confirmation like what we're about to get here on BAT. Real close. The other thing, the easiest thing, and I say this for all your crypto, whatever crypto you're looking at, or any market, if you're in a downtrend, folks, I want to see the downtrend channel be broken. That's a downtrend channel. I mean, here I'll draw the lower part of the line. It's kind of like that. That's pretty much what the downtrend bear market channel looks like. And for the first time, we are to the right of that. I'll argue that the next HSI outside of that downtrend is going to be a lot more responsive than, say, that one. We're getting quite close. I think if it's 2 weeks or 2 months, it's not going to be 4 months. Keep an eye on that one. Thursday, we'll get into more of that. Okay, Daniel's really pushing. You want to look at Apple 2008. I'll go over there. We got a few more minutes. I'll wrap it up. Okay, yeah, you want to look at that? He wants to look at compare Apple with Bitcoin. Okay. 2008. Let me bring this over. Markets are not doing much today. Markets are, they've been down in the morning. They came back up. What's the done? Yeah, industrials are up $100. No biggie. Here's Apple. Let me bring it over into the other screen. Apple 2008. Look, this is just like NASDAQ. Let's go to 2008. There it is. It's amazing. It's amazing that Apple, everyone thinks of Apple as like it is the dominant tech company in the world, but let me tell you, that really did not even start until about 10 years ago, even though this thing has been in business since late 70s. That's amazing. That's just a market lesson. But 2010, yeah, there you go. I mean, okay, I see what you're saying. It's similar. This is Apple weekly. It's the same kind of a deal. Here, let me remove that bearish pattern. I know what you're saying. It's a similar, we've got an M formation. No doubt. This is 2008. This is also 2002 for a lot of these. And that's, look, I want to be considering that. I do. It's not like I want to stay in the crypto winter malaise forever. And we do have this M formation. It's looks like this. I mean, you can go off of probably this peak. Something like that. I mean, it's not even really fits within. That's not really a Gartley. It's not even a bat. Maybe it's a Gartley. Let me remove that. Yeah, it's probably a Gartley. The big news that we do have is that's similar to everything. Again, the comment was, can you show Apple from 2008? Because it looks a lot like Bitcoin. You have your A to B to C to D there right off the top, which you have in Ethereum. And this is probably, let me bring in the Gartley ratios. Although the software is not picking it up. But the Gartley ratios are 618 at the B point, 786 at the D. So it's like this. There's your 618. Is it close? It doesn't really fit well. I mean, it's not. This is where your measurements matter. The structure, yes, I get what you're saying. There's similar in formation. You have an M formation. Your 786 at $3 for Apple. Hilarious. That was the low. So M formation, I agree. And you have a minimum ABCD off the top. You compare that to Bitcoin now. We are looking at that. Here's the Bitcoin comparison on the weekly. Really similar. And you do have confirmation down there. This does not, the difference between Bitcoin, okay, and the Apple is you don't have an ABCD. And the minimum ABCD is critical. Use this tool just to connect dots, okay? There's A to B. Roughly, that's roughly what, 24, 25,000 comes up to the C point. And then 25,000 down puts you around 23,000, something like that. So, yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Not 25, 35. 35,000. So 35,000 off of that peak basically puts you around, 14, 15,000. The big ABCD would be like that. Structurally, that would be a minimum, and we've seen it before in Bitcoin. This is why these two patterns really matter, and these are auto-generated. These are exactly the kind of patterns that the software can generate big bat patterns when we get down there with confirmation, it's a go. It's a go. I will dismiss everything I hear in the news and all of the travesty of the current political economic malaise, and I'll just say, look, signals are there. I want to see this pattern, confirmation, go for reaction, and knowing that's just a reaction, not moon yet. Retest for the type 2, and then your possibility of mooning happens later. Again, you bring all of that into Bitcoin. It won't happen till next year. But we're deep in that hole waiting for structural confirmation. Ethereum is the better candidate. James is asking, when I trade 5-minute patterns on futures, do I still set the stop loss or do I watch and I close and scalp them? Lately, I've been scalping them. But I still say treat everything as a reaction. It's definitely, we're in that kind of environment where everything is like a quick thrust and just not doing what you want to see. I mean, it's just not going to run. Nothing's going to run. You're going to consolidate for a while. You will have strong ups, strong downs, but trending, no. We haven't changed this downtrend, and we'll have a lot of work to do to get there. But everything that we look at is within the M and W framework, so that's that. I will wait for those signals. One or two more. You guys, Richmond wants to look at nat gas. It hasn't changed. Really quick, I'll go over to here. We're now on the eSignal platform. Really quick, jump over to nat gas and dollar index too. I'll show you guys. The dollar index, we know what the deal is on dollar index. Still higher. Nat gas, 6 on the bottom side, 9 on the top side. And that doesn't change. Doesn't change. I've been saying that for a long time. Here's 6. There's 9. Do we have confirmation yet? Nope. But we are oversold. Take a look. Nat gas is getting ready. And I've been saying this since we really were ready to bail out at 9. Because we had some patterns in Boyle and the like. And here's HSI serving up exactly what it needs to do. It comes out of the zone and goes back to the other extreme. Until it comes out, we still wait. Look, this nat gas is beautiful at doing that. Oversold, overbought. Overbought, oversold. trending weekly, even the dailies like that too. You're going to see it. You can break it down even clearer on the daily, but look, those are the weekly levels fold into the daily levels fold into the weeklies. So you do have a bullish signal on the daily, but not the weekly yet. I would wait for the weekly, but at least you see those dynamics unfold real strong. I mean, that's nice action. XLE is probably the one. If you're looking for direction in energy, folks, pull up the XLE ETF. Deeply oversold. HSI did come out of the zone. No pattern. And the weekly time frame needs a little more time. Check out this. There you go. Nothing yet on weekly. Amplified starting to come down a little bit more. Again, we want to see that come in and then pivot out. Notice nothing in HSI yet. No bullish signal. There hasn't been a bullish signal in quite some time. Our last bullish signal was all the way back here in 2020, which really set us off. I mean, that was amazing. That's it's like UNG. That's my preferred vehicle going forward on nat gas, by the way. I think in terms of Boyle, folks, I think it's almost too volatile to really cover where I expect people to be able to handle that properly. UNG, keep an eye on that for nat gas. If the weekly triggers on natural gas next week or the next 2 weeks, then we will come back around to the energy sector. It's had a lot of the fluff taken out. I mean, look at Chevron. Chevron was 170, now trading 138. Going back down into the oversold again. Just kind of a dud reaction. Needs more time. Just wait for it. We'd just be patient on that one. You got it. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate the input. Hey, Ralph, what's going on? Are there any stocks or crypto I am dollar cost averaging or just scalping? That's a good question. Here's one. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. This was on our 3 ideas for the premium members. And so this is one that I did recently pick up. And it's still pretty good. I actually I bought back my Altria position. And if you go back to the sessions in April, it was not easy. I had a large Altria position, and I scaled out like 90% of it. And that was because of the patterns we had. Also, look, the daily had a ton of stuff. We had confirmation, we had terminal bar, and then it just rolled over. It could not get above the XA level. Now, check it out. We're back here with another deep crab. Look at this back-to-back interplay. And so a couple days ago, no, last week, I started picking this up down around 41. And this is one that was posted to the members. And I'll go into 1 or 2 of the things that I posted recently. And we should have a new 3 ideas up probably tomorrow. But look, Gartley, all the way back from November, and we were in front of that, comes back to the crab in April. And now back in here, off of the hop at the deep crab. And take a look. Amplified now coming out, probably even a better position than a few days ago. Let's see how strong this can come off the hop level. I think it can go at least up to target 1 at 49. And then we'll see. Maybe it does something like this. Up to target 1, back down, and then we get going for the bigger move. I also mentioned when I did the 3 ideas upload of that video that this sucker is yielding like 8.5% on the dividend. So that is, a nice pickup as well. One of my favorite forever stocks, but And I did hold on to, I held on, I had a few thousand shares up here, and I dumped it all but about 300 shares. And I got back, I added, I think, about 1,500 there. And I'm probably holding about 2,000 shares. And I'll play it as a type 1. No, it was not posted to Google Groups or anything. It was posted to the premium members. So if folks want to know what they get for subscribing, it looks like this. Part of the thing, you get software access on a monthly basis. If you didn't know that, check out the website. Gold members here on the gold members page. In the library, right here, and then was the three ideas. But where's the monthly report? The monthly report should be up there as well. So I do once a week, 3 ideas, and also do a once a month market report. Here is, I'll show 1 or 2 more of the, let me do it this way. There we go. Oh, here it is. All right, so there was the post right there. So there's the post from, I guess it was like 2 weeks ago. But right down there, 42, 41 area, that's the hop levels, 42.17. So pretty good. Here's the other one that I wanted to show. There was a couple that, here's 3M. Down there at basically looking at this retest here, 126 level. That was another one. And then the other one was, where'd it go? Oh, GameStop. So GameStop as a short. That's an example of 3 ideas that I post that are in there. So if you're a gold member and you don't know about that, do check out the gold members page at least once, twice a week. We'll be posting more there soon. Let's look at GameStop. We haven't looked at that. Those MAME crazy stocks, GME. There it is. 4-hour time frame. Yeah, we've got the couple patterns that are up here. We're about to retest. Maybe it was the hourly. Yeah, it's hourly. There you go. So we're back up there. 139 was where we were looking at 2 weeks ago. Now we've got the retest with another pattern. So GameStop. All right, let's follow up on this on Thursday because we want to see it in this area, 143 to 140, basically. And looking for that back down to the 123 level. We got to pick up some shorts, you know. Got to find some short trades, even as depressed as things are. Oh, monthly report is on the bottom. Uh-oh, then I didn't sort that properly. I'll switch that. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. All right, one or 2 more. You guys, man, you're crypto fiends. Someone's saying Dash. All right, Dash. Dash is like this. Ooh, thank you. Oh, that's the hourly. Hourly's nice. That's tradable. But let's go weekly. Look at this weekly. This is what I'm talking about. Pattern. Confirmation. Go. So here's Dash. Butterfly. That's a weekly chart. That's a beautiful picture, folks. Not to mention, look at the PRZ. The potential reversal zone. PRZ. Starts here back in May. We're 2 months later, and there's confirmation. So, okay, you have a real definable, actionable level at 42. Tell me what Amplified's doing. Are we out? There's Amplified RSI. That's barely out. It's out, but it's barely out. You need to see this thing really flex Remember what I was saying about the 50 level as a spot where it can really accelerate? Keep an eye on Dash. I like that one. It's got all of what we look for. Butterfly, confirmation, check back. Now we are in the window. That is permissible execution in terms of what I would look for. And use this bar. Use that single bar as your reference point for the stop. Really should not be taking out anything under 38, under that prior low. Because once this is established and you have a check back, you should not be making new lows. The other part, like all of them, the thing that weighs this down still is the trend line. Even go off this year. Okay? We just broke out of that downtrend from the year or last 2 months, 3 months. All-time trend line weekly looks like this. If you go off the top, for all of your crypto, where are you? Are you to the right of that? I mean, you could go from that peak, but usually you want to get that peak too. Because you want all the price action underneath that downtrend line to really verify where this can break out. You're week 2. You're week 2 to the right of what is that? 15-month, 14-month downtrend. So you're early. You're still early, but that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. SLP, Trip Lang, welcome. I haven't seen you here before, but maybe actually someone was asking for SLP. What is SLP? This is probably a Super S coin. SLP. What is this? It's like them all. It's only at a fraction of a penny. Are you to the right of your downtrend? Like there, maybe. You do have HSI for the first time, but this is your bottom fishing here. I don't know why you would look at something like this. There's no pattern, my friend. Well, yeah, I say no pattern, but you have a look hop level. It was a beautiful bat here. Great opportunity. Again, another one that gave you a dud. No follow through. How do you know that it's a dud? There's the pattern completion, and that was at 8 cents. Confirmation comes in at 7.5 cents. And then look, you go well more than 30 bars, and it's a dud. It's just a dud. I think there's many better opportunities in crypto than things like this. I think this will be one of the last to run. And when crypto winter is over, there will be 100 cryptos that run before this thing moves an inch. Quality over quantity, for sure. Quality over quantity. Yeah, there's nothing there. It's a gaming coin. I look at a chart like that, it's just ugly. Okay, one more. FTT. You got it. Losing my voice. There's FTT. I overlaid that. FTT. Come on. Here's FTT. This is better. Back-to-back patterns and confirmation for the first time. FTT has a check back at, where are you? Oh, let's get the right scale on here. $24. 24 bucks. You got a hop level at 23. This one's better. This is the kind of thing I like to look for. Check out, here's your downtrend. Okay, encompassing all of the price action off the top. Now you're to the right. You're just now getting to the right. A little check back on something like this. I would target the next test at 23.50. Somewhere, you're close. A lot of these are close. I mean, no doubt. We want to be there in front of it and just be patient. We'll look at more of these on Thursday. I'm done. My throat is out. So bring it back on Thursday, folks. We'll look at Zcash and Dash and more of those. We got time. We just know we're close, okay? Let's see how these checkbacks go through this week. Line up a batch of these that I've showed today, and then we'll get serious about these of something to develop maybe by the month's end, maybe into early August, but at least on a lot of these, you're getting to the right of the downtrend. They're just not in the major market cap that you want to see. So be patient. Until then, we'll come on back on Thursday. Thanks, everybody. Great session today.